Yo, what's up aliens, AHEE here. So today I'm going to be showing y'all how to use my Magic RACKS Volume 3. Now a lot of y'all have already downloaded these, which I super appreciate, but if you haven't, I'm going to provide a link in the description of where you can get them. Let's get into this. So I've released a couple of Magic RACKS, and these ones are completely unique from the Volumes 1, the add-ons, and the Volume 2. For these I got to put a little bit more thought into them in like sort of what my most used signal chains were. So I'm really excited to share these with y'all. First up, here I've got an almond break. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to add in the drum OTT, and this is just as is. Does a lot. It's basically just an OTT with a little extra compression on it, but it's really what you want to do is bring down the amount and then just slowly fade it in and find that sweet spot. It also works really well on drum groups like this. Bring it down, slowly bring in that amount and find the right spot, and then this time scaling that like adjusts the amount of squishiness or punchiness in there, and then this tiny extra that's just a little extra compression at the end if you need to push it that hard. Also here on the almond break, another fun thing to try out on this is the fuzzy maker. Check this out. It's a very specific effect, and it's got a couple controls here to basically change, like, you know, the vibe of the sound. So let's mess around with a few of these. So you can tell the energy is like moving the space around you. The blur sort of does like this like flangey thing to it. And the shape sort of controls like how the phasing is occurring, and then the color I think is some EQ, and then this digital, it's like a resonance type effect, but it's really fun. Just throw it on drums. It sounds good on vocals too. Okay, also I want to show you all the radio fades. Now I had another one called the Radio Vox, and this is sort of based on that, but it gives you more options in here. And basically how to use it is that you want to automate one of these radio buttons, and you'll hear how they all sound a little bit different. So let's listen to a couple. So here's the other ones. So you can tell they all have sort of different EQing positions. I would say that the radio 1 starts when it's fully on, it's the lowest, and radio 4 is the highest, and then the radio 3 and 2 are somewhere in between. And then it's also got this distortion amount, which if we turn this on, just that extra grit in there. The magic amount is just the magic box built into this, which is one of my most used Ableton racks. So just multiple forms of compression, and then this wiggle, a little silly wiggle in there, which can be cool on some like distorted vocals and whatnot. And then this resonance only really affects the radio ones. These can also sound cool on like intros and outros of melodic bits too. Maybe just dirty it up. Next, let's try to add some effects to these snares. So here's our drum loop again. It's got the drum OTT on it, and we're going to apply the Magic Reverb Long. Instantly huge reverb. So the volume controls like the volume of the actual reverb itself. The decay is the length. The size is like what kind of space the reverb is in, and then the reverb comp is the reverb compression. So if we turn that up, you'll get more of the reverb in there. Now the sidechain amount, this is what's really cool about this thing, is that it's actually ducking the original So it's not just like adding a reverb onto your snare. It's actually sidechaining the original signal, so that way it separates the reverb tail from the actual original signal. And you can mess around with this to really find that sweet spot. There, it's almost like a slapback effect that's a little too much sidechain. Right there, it's pretty sweet. And then the reverb color is like the EQ of the reverb. A darker reverb, a brighter EQ, a brighter reverb over to the right. And then the final compression here is compressing the original signal with the reverb. So I usually don't like to push the final compression as much because I want that transient of the original sound to come through, but then I tend to push more of the actual reverb compression. But I gave those two separate because you never know when you might need it. Now also, here's the short reverb. Let's listen to this. It's cool sort of space that it gives it. And this is essentially the same plugin, it's just got a different settings all set up on it. It does everything the same. I just wanted to have a quick, easy, just throw it on and it does the thing. A long version and a short version. Everything else is the same in it. Also, it's nice to add in the magic reverb on, say, like a percussive hit. Check this out. Just like a regular, I think that's some sort of Foley snare sound. Yeah, just nice to add those on. And also on here is the magic delays. Check this out. What's cool about the magic delay is particularly the delay filter. So you can automate that and just get that fade out effect, which is really cool. Also here is the delay volume, which increase the volume of the delay, the delay feedback, how many delays are going to happen, and the magic amount is that overall compression. And then the delay style, this is a really cool thing in this delay. So as you move it along, it changes the delay a lot. So you'll notice as it's going through, it switches back between ping-ponging and doing a straight delay. Definitely mess around. Usually to the left is shorter, to the right is longer. And I sort of set it so that way it covers all the most common and most useful delay styles, all within just this one sweep of a knob. If you look in here, if we open it up, you can actually see it's a lot of different delays all built into there. And it's just super easy setup. Toss it on. Another cool thing that you can do with the magic reverbs and delays is throw them on vocals. So check this out. Let's throw it here on this vocal.
It's the ways of the underground.
And then now with the delays.
It's the ways of the underground. It's the ways of the underground.
Slap back, or
it's the ways of the underground. It's the ways of the underground.
Yeah, that one's sweet. All right, also here, let's throw on some of these reverbs. Let's see what this sounds like.
It's the ways of the underground.
That one's nice, short one.
It's the ways of the underground.
Oh, that's cool. That gives it like sort of a unique sonic space there. Also, what's great on vocals are the magic Hype Vox. Check it out.
It's the ways of the underground.
Isn't that awesome?
It's the ways of the underground.
It like doubles the voice, but then like detunes one of them. Here, let's try it on another vocal sample.
Yo, check this out. Yo, check this out. Yo, check this out.
Really good on pre-drop vocals and rap vocals in general. This one's, the difference between the 1 and 2 is that this one, you can control the pitch.
Yo, check this out. Yo, check this out. Yo, check this out. Yo, check this out.
You can control like the doubling on there. Also the feedback.
Yo, check this out. Yo, check this out.
The delay.
Yo, check this out. Yo, check this out. Yo, check this out.
And then also the
Yo, check this out.
the low cuts built in there, the compression, and you've got drive and distortion also on here.
Yo, check this out. Yo, check this out. Yo, check this out. Yo, check this out.
Also here on the second one, you can control the spread. So
Yo, check this out. Yo, check this out.
you can see that one's like super wide, sort of delayed.
Yo, check this out.
Also on here is this one called the Magic Sprite, and this is one of my favorites. I based this off of what I saw Skrillex doing in his project, where he would tune and distort vocals. So what I recommend is to get some sort of auto tuning feature, throw it on some vocals, and then throw this after the auto tuning. So here's like a vocal chop, some random sample, and then throw this on. Super cool, especially when you get those auto-tuned vocals in there. The distortion on the auto-tune it does this really cool thing. It's super great for vocal chops. Also, here's the pan amount, so you can turn it up the pan rate, and then the shape of that pan. That one's a smoother, that one's a bit choppier, and then it's got the low cut. Cut out the low end, a chorus, some stereo width, and then distortion. And then magic again is that overall compression. Also, the fuzzy maker is super cool on vocals as well.
It's the ways of the underground. It's the ways of the underground.
I love that one. Someone sent me that recently. You could actually
It's the ways of the underground. It's the ways of the underground.
that one and then the fuzzy maker.
It's the ways of the underground.
That's sort of cool. Yeah, definitely try to combo these things. See what new things you can come up with. Also, lastly on these vocals, here's the Magic Fairy delay, and this one's just a really pretty delay.
It's the ways of the underground.
And you see it does like all those like trippy psychedelic
Yo,
delays,
check this out.
just like the little vocals in there, and then you can basically control the dry, wet gain and the delay volume. Not too much to control there. This one's also really fun to play on sine waves. So yeah, that's just on a sine wave. That one's super fun. So now that I've got this sine wave here, I'm going to play it here in a low octave. You're definitely not going to be able to hear that if you're on iPhone or laptop speakers. But if we look here in span, you can see there's that sub note happening right there. Now let's add on the sub Harmonic Maker. And now I bet you can start to hear that on some iPhone speakers. Yep, and you can see it's got the second harmonic added in there. I really cranked it there for y'all. Usually I wouldn't crank it in a song that loud. Yeah, maybe something like that. And then also you can control the range. So you can see you can add more upper harmonics. You can also control the split frequency if you just want the upper harmonics and not those seconds. I'm going to keep it there, and then back down on the distortion, and maybe I only want a couple of those things in there. Yeah, there we go. Super cool though. Just adding that on a sine wave or on an 808 just allows you to be able to hear it on iPhones because of those second and third harmonics. So now here I've got this a couple series of these racks that are just sound design racks, and literally just throw them on and explore. It almost doesn't matter what signal you feed into it, it's going to sound very similar. So that's just the sine wave. The sine wave. It doesn't matter what key I'm playing. It's gonna make pretty much the same sound. Maybe if I turn it to a saw wave. So here's it's got a little bit more white noise in it now. But it's fun to just mess around with these and like have it as some weird sound design. Yeah, you could automate this. So maybe add the delay on there. Yeah, that one's a cool combo. Also on here, we got the Goofy Riddim. Again, just a saw wave. You see what I mean by Goofy Riddim? That's pretty sweet though, actually. You can mess around with the mod, the sync rate. That sounds like some Eliminate. See ya, Nate. That's like Weeble Wobble or something. Also, here's Goofy Riddim 2. It's the same thing as Goofy Riddim 1. It's just a different preset on there, different settings. I just want to be able to drop it on. Those ones are really fun. Here next, we got the noise rattles, and these again are you just throw it on. Sort of insane sound. Like that over an 808, just like. I think that's pretty cool. The Noise Rattle 2, again, is the same thing, just different settings. Super fun one. So now I'm going to play some bass, and I'm going to turn on the resonant driver. Check this out. That's just on saw wave. It's just a fun bass sound, and definitely try to mess around with some of these. Super fun. You can obviously see that can just be a cool bass sound. Now we also got the Mega Thick Maker, and this has a couple different applications, but we'll just throw it on the saw wave. Check it out what it sounds like. Oh yeah, playing around with the tunes is pretty fun. Dang. Just a saw wave. Okay, next we got the Magic Big Maker. You can tell it beefs it up a little bit. And so it's got the Fat Rack, the Magic Rack all built in. It's got a little bit of a frequency shifter, and then you can control the high and low EQ on there. But let's try these out on some bass one shots. So check it out. Here I've got this womp thing, and let's just throw this on there. Sounds pretty dope. All right, let's check it out on this one. It just sort of gives it a unique... Oh look, there it is on vocals actually. This sounds dope too. The Big Maker does what it says it does. Also on here is the Subtle Space Maker, and this one is sort of based off of the signal chain that I saw Virtual Riot use just on some of his basses, but I did some alterations to it just to have a little bit more control, and I thought it's pretty cool sounding. You know, gives it a cool space. It just the point is not to be obvious, but the point is just to give the sound a real setting to like live within. Yeah, I love that one. Oh, also here on the big Magic Big Maker. If you crank the frequency shift up all the way, it gives it a little bit of like a peekaboo kind of style sound. Let's try that on the vocal. That's tight, actually. I like that one a lot. All right, we're coming down to the last few. So here, this is the most complicated of the Magic Racks, are the Vocoder Magic Stacks, because it involves actually going in and adjusting some things that you have to do to make this work. So here I've got an operator set up, and it's just playing some chords. I've set it up on a saw wave. just to get the most harmonics in there, and then I've muted that channel. So when you just throw the Vocoder Magic Stack on, it's not going to sound that great. This is what it sounds like. Could be some cool sound design, but it's not what it's necessarily meant to be. You actually have to open up. We're going to click this little credit card looking thing, and we're going to go over to here. You're going to see the 0, plus, and minus. You actually have to click on each one and select audio in from your carrier channel, which is going to be this operator for us in this case. So I'm going to select it there. Going to click on the plus. You're going to select the operator again, and the minus, and the operator again. And why you have to do this 3 times when you want to use these plugins is because there are actually 3 different vocoders going on, and this is what makes this Magic Stack so cool. So now we can just throw this on and let's give it a listen. Cool. So we can actually play around with these high copy, low copy pitches. So So this gate adjust, this is what's different between the Stack 1 and the Stack 2, is that the Stack 1, it's for vocals that you feel like that there's noise in the background of them, so you can actually use this gate adjust to cut them out. And this one here is just gives you full control over the consonances. So if we wanted to not have any consonances at all, get rid of them, or we can turn them up. I'm going to turn them down a little bit, and then you can use the envelope depth on either of these. And then you can also control the gains of those high and low copies of the sound. Let's really crank them up. And then the OTT here is compression before the signal chain, so that way if your vocals are really quiet, you can turn up the OTT and it will bring them easier into the vocoder. And this is just a more full sound than the regular vocoder, just because you've got that upper and the lower voices as well. Now that we've got that, and these ones, the last 2 are the Alien Wigglers. And these ones are just sort of weird, quirky sound design ones. Just got a weird percussive sound. Fun to make effects and trippy echoes and whatnot with these. These ones are also weird. Obviously, you could do some sort of cool rhythmy kind of things with the Alien Wiggler 1. It's the same thing, just different settings on them. Just on a little blippy. You do some like psychedelic trappy kind of thing with that. But yes, those are all of the new Magic RACKS Volume 3. If you enjoyed this, please give this a like. And consider buying it at the link below in the description. Also, if you haven't heard already, I released a new album on Circus Records called Future Escape. There's 8 tracks in there. Some I got a collab with Stylist and with D-Funk in there, and then also I have an official Conrank remix in there. Really excited about. And I'll also provide a link below of where you can go listen to that EP. All right, aliens. See you next week. Peace.